Hey YouTube, it's Casual Brews, and I'm gonna do a little Week 1 NFL recap. I just finished watching the Rams and Bears Sunday Night Football. Rams won 34-14. Not overly shocking, honestly. I didn't think the Rams would put up that many points. I know the Bears have had a good defense, but I think the Rams look better than I expected. But I'm still kind of torn. Are the Rams that good or the Bears just suck? I'm leaning more towards that the Bears just suck. Honestly, I knew the Rams would be better offensively anyway. Bringing in Stafford, he looked great. He looked phenomenal. A couple deep balls, perfectly executed play calls. They're still pretty loaded offensively with Kupp, Woods, now Deshaun Jackson. Add a little wrinkle in there. They still run the ball pretty well. They didn't really run the ball well early on. They kind of started having some success on their last drive running it. Kill the clock. Bears just gave up. Played into it. But yeah, I mean, the Bears. Oh my God. I mean, like, as a Seahawks fan, I'm hopeful it's just more of the Bears just being bad than the Rams being good. Obviously, we have to play the Rams twice this year. Just come off a really disgusting loss to them in the playoffs. But yeah, the Bears just are a disaster. I mean, poorly coached. Their defense has taken a small step back. They're still good up front, but their secondary. Like I looked, they announced the starting lineup. I'm like, who the hell are these guys? The corners. Like, secondary is in shambles. They got torched all night long. Guys like Kupp on the Kupp touchdown and the Jefferson touchdown. Like, guys are wide open. The first touchdown where Jefferson caught the ball at like the 10-yard line off like a 50-yard bomb, he fell down on his own, and like the Bears players just stood there and watched him. No one touched him. You could have downed him right there. You let him get up and run in the end zone. Unbelievable. But offensively, yeah, they're a disaster. I mean, either let Dalton just completely run your offense, or just give the reins to Fields, let him work through whatever rookie mistakes he might encounter. But this whole put Fields in for one play here, one play there, it didn't work for the Saints with the Drew Brees, Taysom Hill. It's just really, really poor. It just comes across really desperate. Like, you want Dalton to be your guy, but we got to sprinkle Fields in for one play, and then it becomes too predictable. You know what he's going to do? He's going to run it, probably play action. Now it worked out on the one touchdown run he had, and he threw one pass in the red zone, and then I think it was their first drive. He throws on the Dalton interception. He throws a pass in the red zone, gets him down to the 3-yard line or something, and then one play, they pull him out, put Dalton in, Dalton throws a pick. It's unbelievable. I mean, I don't even need to go into it because it's Bears fans everywhere are already saying how terrible of a coach and a play caller Nagy is, but at the same time, they're lacking in skill positions. Outside of Robinson, there's really not much there. Montgomery runs the ball really well. But yeah, the Bears just. So anyway, went on about this too long. I think more so the Bears just suck. The Rams look good, but the Bears are just terrible. It'll be interesting to see how the Rams fare against a legitimate playoff team, because current state of the Bears, they're not winning more than 6 games, to be honest. Unless maybe they start Fields and catch lightning in a bottle. It's highly possible. He's got a better arm than Andy Dalton. The only thing you can maybe say, Dalton just has a more experience, can maybe go through his progressions a little more, but Fields has the better arm. He's faster. He can run. Anyway, that's enough of that. Other things I kind of noticed throughout the day, like NFC West. I mean, that's no surprise. By far the best division in football right now. All 4 teams won. Cardinals killed Titans. I was surprised by that. I think I picked Titans to win. I did my picks. I thought it'd be a close game, but I think I picked the Titans to win. But I wasn't gonna sleep on the Cardinals, and the more I look at their roster, I forgot how good their roster is now. They got AJ Green, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk. They got good weapons. They got James Conner's no scrub. He's had his moments as a running back, and he's the backup behind Edwards. And then Kyler Murray looks sensational. He's the fastest player in the field by far. Like, when he takes off and runs, it's really hard to bring him down. As a Seahawks fan, I saw firsthand he killed us running the ball. And it looks like he's only gotten faster and stronger and better. So that's a problem. And defensively, they're pretty good too. I mean, the Titans were one of the better offensive teams last year. It was their defense that was the issue, and they only put up 13 points, I think it was. Obviously, when you're down early like they were, you can't really establish Henry, which is where their offense kind of builds off of. Henry running the ball, play action pass. Tannehill is not a really great drop back and just pass kind of guy. He needs to work off of play action. So they're not a team that's really going to succeed when they're trailing by like more than a score or two. So Cardinals got off to the early lead, didn't look back. And then Niners-Lions. This is an interesting one. I didn't get a chance to see this game. I was watching the Seahawks game at the time. But I know they got off to a really big lead. It was kind of weird. They put Lance in for the one little play. He threw a touchdown, but Jimmy G still was the starter. Still, like, just numbers-wise, I didn't get much footage of this game. I want to maybe see if I can find the game film and look at some more of what happened. But the Niners looked really good offensively, and then they kind of let Detroit come back somehow. Maybe just played a little bit not to lose. I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch it, but, the final numbers, it's like it ended up being a close game. They covered the spread, I think, by like half a point. I think San Fran was like 8.5 spread favorites, and as I predicted, Detroit covered because they were down by like 20-something points, and they brought it with an 8 to finish the game. So, but yeah, Detroit, new coach, they're going to be feisty. That's not too surprising. I've honestly thought the Niners have been heavily overrated this offseason. I don't believe in Jimmy G. Now, would Trey Lance be a better option? I don't know. He doesn't have the experience that like a Fields or a Lawrence had in college. He has, I think, the lowest amount of starts of any of those guys who came out this year. So I don't know if that's going to make much of a difference. But Detroit obviously is a bad team. They might be lucky to win 2 or 3 games this year. It's just their roster. It's not any fault about the new coach or anything like that. They'll play hard for him. But yeah, I honestly think San Fran, I've thought they're overrated. I don't think they showed me anything today to prove otherwise. I mean, it's garbage time. You play prevent defense. I don't know. Maybe they kind of fell asleep and let Detroit get back into the game. I don't know. We'll see. Again, just like the Rams, I want to see them play against an actual really good team. The Bears aren't very good. Detroit Lions definitely not very good. The whole division went over today. Speaking of like polar opposites to the NFC West, my God, the Packers look terrible. They got killed by the Saints. Saints without Drew Brees. Jameis Winston came in, managed the game. He threw 5 touchdowns, but under 200 yards. They said it was like the least amount of yards thrown by any quarterback to ever throw 5 touchdown passes. But they ran the ball well, and Aaron Rodgers turned the football over twice, 2 picks. Not even 3. There's 2 picks when I saw it near the end of the game. They looked terrible. Packers looked absolutely awful offensively. They didn't seem to establish the run from what I watched, and Rodgers was just missing guys, just flat out. And I've been an Aaron Rodgers fan for the most part. Just his ability. I've thought he's the most talented quarterback many times the last few years, and he looked awful today. Just awful. Missing guys, look uncomfortable. And it's not like the Saints were really world beaters defensively, but they were getting after him too, though, and they were rushing him, forcing him into bad throws. The whole Packers offense looked terrible, and then defensively, when your offense can't sustain drives, the defense gets tired, and they're playing in, Jacksonville, which was probably hot, humid, muggy. Yeah, they look bad. And then the Vikings kind of had the closest game of anyone. They went to overtime and lost to the Bengals on a walk-off field goal. Now, this Bengals team getting Joe Burrow back is a huge upgrade, but that Bengals team was like one of the worst teams in football last year, so that whole division, the NFC North, looks bad. The Vikings are leading technically the division because they played an AFC team, right? So, I mean, yeah, it's a bad division. I think the Packers will still figure it out and win it, but Vikings, Lions, Bears aren't going to provide much resistance there. Moving on, what else is kind of noteworthy? Patriots lost a tough one. I wasn't watching, but I was kind of following that game. They kind of were leading early. It was a low-scoring game, as you kind of expect to one rookie quarterback, one second-year quarterback. Low-scoring game. Pats were driving, the chance to take the lead with like 3 minutes left and fumbled again, like their second fumble, I think, in the half maybe, and gave Miami the ball back and they ran the clock out. Tough loss for Mac Jones. I don't think he lit the world on fire or anything, but he seemed pretty competent. It seemed like he didn't make any real bad mistakes. He seemed to be pretty well poised. It's just rookie quarterback. He's not gonna put up a ton of points. It's just unfortunate. If it weren't for that fumble, they probably would have won. They were driving the ball. They were down 17-16, driving the ball. It was like, I think within 10 yards of the end zone, they fumbled with like 3 minutes to go. Tough finish there. But I still think, especially Buffalo lost. So no, I think Buffalo will still probably win that division. But yeah, not the worst loss for New England. Other than that, what else was there that I really noticed? Yeah, but Buffalo Pittsburgh, I guess. I mean, again, I didn't get to watch this game, but kind of from what I was following, it just seemed like Buffalo kind of struggled to get their offense going. They fell behind. They didn't really establish. I saw Josh Allen through like 50-something passes, and that's not the formula. He's improving every year as a quarterback, throwing the ball, but they need to have the run going. And Pittsburgh's got a good defense. Pittsburgh, wish I would have been on record, but Pittsburgh was my pick to win that division. To have a bounce back year. They had injuries last year, both sides of the ball. They had a good drafting. Najee Harris was huge. I thought that was a steal. They have even though I don't think he got a ton of yards today, but now they have a respectable running game. I think Big Ben probably healthier than he's been in recent years. He's going to have a nice year, I think, and I think they'll win that division. The Browns obviously lost today. The Ravens play tomorrow. We'll see how they look. But yeah, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are in the driver's seat to win that division, and they handled Buffalo today. They started slow offensively, but then so did the Bills, and the second half seemed to be all Pittsburgh. Their defense is going to be really good. I think, TJ Watt, he got a strip sack fresh off his huge contract. And yeah, they're going to be tough. They're going to be real tough. And Buffalo, I think they'll still figure it out, but it seemed concerning that they needed, even though they were I think they were winning the whole first half, and Allen needed to throw 50+ passes. That's not the formula. They were successful last year because they had a good running game. They had a running game by committee. They didn't really have a real bell house running back, but they seem to all kind of chip in running the football. And even though Allen's going to get better and better as a passer, very few teams succeed when you are that pass heavy. So they got to figure that out. But again, Pittsburgh's defense is that good. They could have just shut down the run and gave them no choice. I don't know. Again, I didn't get to watch this game, but just from what I kind of analyzed, it seemed to be what happened. What else can I really say? That's about it. Nothing else really caught my eye. I mean, yeah, I touched on the Packers game. Winston, I knew he would. He's not Drew Brees, but I knew he would be come in there and be successful. He's got that LASIK eye surgery now. You can see he has been playing all his whole career with bad eyesight. Go figure. Yeah, no, nothing else really I want to touch on at this moment. Obviously I'll do a preview for the Seahawks next game at home against the Tennessee Titans, who just got blown out. So I don't know if that means they're going to come out angry and hungry, or they're just going to, maybe they just suck. I don't know. I knew their defense wasn't very good, but surprising they could score more than 13 points on an Arizona defense that I didn't think was great, but obviously with Chandler Jones, forgot to mention 5 sacks in 3 quarters. Holy shit. And he's always terrorized the Seahawks, so he's going to get probably another 3 or 4 in the 2 games he plays against us, I'm sure. So, yeah, early Defensive Player of the Year candidate, probably. He's been right near the top. You look at the active guys in the last few years, sacks, he's right near the top 5, probably. And yeah, early Defensive Player of the Year favorite for sure. I mean, 5 sacks. It's going to take some of the best pass rushers another 3 or 4 games to get that. So that's crazy. What a head start. But yeah, that's 15 minutes now. This video has been going on, so I'll wrap it up here. Nothing really else I want to mention, but yeah, big Monday night. Oh, Chiefs Browns game. I mentioned the Browns losing, but yeah, Browns blew it. I don't really need to get into it. Chiefs just did what they do. They find a way to win. Browns had the lead on halftime. Uh, Muff punt, fumbles, Nick Chubb fumble, and then had a drive to win the game. And Baker, I can't tell. On the broadcast, they tried to say Baker was actually trying to throw it away, but he got tripped. I don't think so. I think he was getting tripped, but I still think he was trying to be a hero and make a completion, and he got picked off at the end of the game there. I don't think he was trying to throw it away. It's not what he does. He's done this his whole career. He's tries to play hero ball. Yeah, bad. Anyway, yeah, so Browns lose. Browns lose. Pittsburgh driver's seat in the AFC North. We'll see what happens tomorrow with the Ravens. And yeah, maybe I'll post a little quick recap of the Monday Nighter. Yeah, I think I'll do that. It'll be a good game. Raiders are one of those teams where it's like you really don't know what to expect. They've probably underachieved, you could say, under Gruden. They've kind of been middle of the pack every year since he's been there. The roster, again, defensively still is going to be weak, but they got offensive tools. So it's a lot of pressure on them to perform this year, and it'll be a good game. A real good game. So yeah, I'll post a video tomorrow night after Monday Night Football. Until then, see you later.